Welcome back to the Storm and the Teacup podcast. The group dynamics have changed for this episode as Grant Scalf and myself have left Forest Long back in East Tennessee, and we've traveled to the heartland of Tennessee in Nashville to join our friend Taylor Layman. And in our absence, Forest Long has been drinking all day, being the true lush that he is. Thanks for having us, Taylor.
Great to have you here. It's unfortunate that Forrest was forbidden to join us, but I think today will be very successful as this is the third attempt, and the matinee is always better.
Well, I think Forrest not joining us, this could be our best episode to date, honestly. Forrest,
yeah, when you take a wild card like myself out, you just never know what's going to happen.
Green jacket, gold jacket, who gives a shit?
Vino, Bud White Lime, whiskey.
Oh, Forrest, how's the weather in Knoxville?
It's great. It's a balmy 37
Is it cold
degrees.
and rainy?
Yeah, I think I established that on the first two recordings. That failed miserably.
We're good at a lot of things, one of them being failing.
For those at home, this is our third attempt recording this episode. We've had some false starts so far. But this is what we're good at is the commentary part. So I guess we can lead into that. What the hell are we talking about today, guys?
I think we were going to finish up a little American Open talk. Maybe start a little speculation into what the beautiful mind of Dave Castro could throw at some of the.
Would you, if we're finishing up the American Open and we're going to segue into the Worldwide Open.
Yes, the true Open.
So, Forrest,
Ball
you're the
opens.
Nazi of the group. Why don't you lead us right into the American Open?
What would you like me to talk about besides the horrendous conditions that they made those American lifters?
Your overall support
Lifted.
for the lifters from the United States of America is what we're talking about.
Are you talking about the conditions of the snow and ice storm, the storm of a century? How are they going to affect that, Forrest? Come on.
I mean, who plans to meet in Dallas in December? I mean,
Everyone
did they
knows
not
that
know?
Dallas is the snowy city. Everyone
Listen,
knows that.
like I told you guys earlier, I can tell you what the weather's going to be here next month with the Farmer's Almanac. If USAW had taken 5 minutes and looked at that almanac, they could have tell you that the ice storm was coming to Dallas.
All you got to do is look up in the daggum corner of the roof and see when them spider webs are created. If they're up high, then you know you're going to get you lots of snow that winter.
Heard.
I thought you look at what color the woolly boogers are is what you're supposed to do.
I'm so lost on that one.
What the hell are woolly boogers?
You can get a good look at a T-bone by sticking your head up a bull's ass. But
I'd rather just take the butcher's word for it.
So, Forrest, you obviously were unhappy about the weather. That's fine. I'm going to give you that
And you've
one.
looked up a lot of bulls'
no.
asses, so you're highly qualified to speculate.
USAW.
he's a pharmacist. They look up bulls' asses. That's what pharmacists do.
Who do you think
It's a
tells you that's
BA.
grade A steer?
Yeah.
All right, so no, I'm honestly not mad about the
USAW
weather.
dropped the ball on the weather. I got you. Move on.
They could have done something about that.
Hey,
but,
they represent the United States of America. If you can't control the weather, then what are you doing representing the United States of America?
The Russians can control the weather.
They need to hire Matt Hinken as the USAW meteorologist, right, Forrest?
I was just gonna say maybe they should hire Al Gore.
That's who you're
If they
fan
could
of,
hire
I thought.
Al Gore to be the president of USAW,
Well, let's
maybe
talk
we could get
about
somewhere.
Forrest on a serious note. Forrest, true or false? The 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi, Russia. Russia is taking care of the weather. Like that's a tropical climate, and they're putting the Winter Olympics there. Why couldn't we do something with Dallas? Go.
I mean, there's no reason we can't. We're America. We're number one. We're back-to-back World War champions. I don't know what the hell else we're supposed to do.
Undefeated in World Wars. Undefeated.
Yeah, two-time World War champ. I'll leave it right there.
Done. Enough said.
But no, seriously, if we're going to talk American Open here, let's talk about these conditions that the athletes had to lift in, because I feel so bad for them. They got curtains falling on them. They got announcers who don't know their names.
They made them wear
They got-
singlets the whole time.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, what? I don't know.
I
And they're
heard
lifting on the world's worst platforms.
How can
Dave
you lift without a
Castro-
cod piece? Let's be honest.
Dave
how are
Castro
you
can
setting
put-
an American record without a cod piece?
the calcium carbonate was subpar as well.
I don't know what that. Oh,
Chalk for us. You're a
Well played.
pharmacist.
I was scratching my head there for a minute. Yeah, and I mean, it should be said that Dave Castro puts better platforms out in the middle of the Home Depot Center than USAW can put
Touche.
at the meet. So
Okay,
I mean, I don't know.
not touche, because at the CrossFit Worldwide Games 2013, summer of 2013, LA StubHub Center, World's
Who
Fittest.
was there? Weren't you there?
I was
Hey,
there.
Tell us about the box, for Grant. Tell us about
And
the box.
let me tell you how I was watching the clean and jerk ladder in the luxury suite with Dave Castro's family. That's another story. But those platforms, they dropped. First off, the ladder started at 135. I know you can snatch that for reps, but come on, that's no weight whatsoever being dropped on the platform. That's not a big deal. And then there were only, 80 drops, if that, on the platform. At the American Open, you're talking about 400-plus athletes coming out there, taking 3 attempts each. That's a ton of drops. What are they going to do about the platforms?
It'd actually be 6
But-
attempts each, actually, if you want to get into it, technically.
How many did I say?
3.
Should we be blaming CrossFit HQ or should we be blaming Home Depot, who surely they provided that plywood?
Wow.
I think Home Depot's to blame, and I think Lowe's should be the sponsor next year. I think it should be the Lowe's Center. I think that's the
It's-
only solution.
It's
Wait,
no
no,
longer
no,
the Home
the
Depot
Home-
Center.
The Home Depot Center did a good job. Those platforms didn't fall apart. I think
Correct.
Or USAW went through Lowe's. to make their
USAW
platforms.
went through their local Ace Hardware, I believe.
Okay. Well, either way, I mean, they didn't even make it through the complete meet. So, yes, they did have by far more drops than at the CrossFit Games. But, I mean, I still found it a little funny that the platforms break. They broke what? During the women's I can't remember what weight class, but it was definitely during the women's session that I thought. That was when the curtain fell, and I thought the platforms broke.
I think it was like
shortly
48
before that.
kilos.
It was the women's 94 session, I believe, the 94 kilo B session. No, I totally agree. Like that, it's a weightlifting meet. Like you've run these before. I think we've even said this before on this kind of topic. They need to get this
Last
stuff.
episode.
Yeah, they need to get this stuff straightened out. Platforms shouldn't be breaking. Sponsorship banners should not be falling down in the middle of a lift for a lifter. Yeah, things could be tightened up for certain.
I mean, that banner could have easily fallen over a lifter, blinding them, resulting in horrible injuries. I mean, we don't know. We don't know.
Hey, but in their defense, I mean, the Power did go out of the Super Bowl, so that was probably by far the Trojan Inn's boner of the year for 2018.
It would happen at-
So I
It would
mean,
it would happen at a 49ers Super Bowl, though.
Hey, well, the Power did go out in there playing the Stees as well, if I remember, Caleb, and we hammered that ass that night. So, maybe it's just the 49ers, man. We got a little bad voodoo going on.
You guys
with
are
the Power.
really good at hammering that ass in San Francisco, aren't you, down there?
Whammy.
The old gay area. Let's just give a shout out to that.
Yeah, yeah.
the Tenderloin neighborhood in San Fran. That's a rough city.
Dave knows. Chappelle, that is.
Forrest, is there anything else at the American Open that grinded your gears?
No, I think we pretty much beat this.
What about
topic down.
overly ambitious celebrations, Forrest? I feel like we didn't cover that.
Well, see, I mean, that goes outside of the American Open, and if we want to go down this road, let's get it going.
Okay, so you're saying it's part of a greater systemic malaise.
We've all had too much wine. Let's make this happen tonight. Tonight is the night.
Well, I'm not going to say anything about the American Open. I'm going to put. Can I take like 1 minute to just put my complete argument out there, just so we understand where I'm coming from? Can I finish?
Okay. So the ground rules are: don't interrupt Forrest for 60 seconds. Go.
Yeah, time me. All right, so basically, I'm sick of seeing American athletes get amped and pretend like they just shattered some American record when they haven't done anything. If you've PR'd at 160 and you snatch 155, don't do shit. Just put the bar down and get ready and do another lift. I'm sick of watching American athletes get amped about lifts that they almost completed. They missed 166 behind their head, or they hit 166 with straps, or whatever it is. Like, do it in a meet When you break the record, then you can be excited. Until then, don't give me any of this crap. And I don't want to just blast all the lifters. You should definitely get excited about some things. If that's who you are, if you've got a personality, you're a John North or a Kendrick Ferris, man, that's cool. You can bring that emotion. But let's try to keep the emotion in check and remember that some of the best weightlifters out there, man, they're snatching 40 pounds more than you. And what do they do when they finish? They sit that bar down. They walk off the stage because, I mean, they've been there. Act like you've been there before. Rant over. Let's get this going.
Okay, Forrest, I just want to start with this, and Caleb's going to be mad that I take it from him, but when George takes his first steps, you are not allowed to celebrate that at all.
Wait, no. When he takes his first steps, I can. Now, after he sits down and gets back up and takes more steps, then I can't. Because those are first steps.
Because you know how many kids have taken first steps before? It's nothing
new. Do you know how many of my kids have taken first steps before?
I can count 3 on one hand.
Man, don't bring that up on the podcast. That's so personal. I can't even believe that you would share that with our 11 listeners.
I also want you to create a YouTube compilation video of these training lifts where they're lifting 90% and celebrating like they're setting world records.
I can do that. I mean,
Forrest has the time. I would not. That's the one bet I would not make in regard to this.
Hey man, you can just go to Attitude Nation's YouTube channel, and I mean, I can just leave it at that. I don't even have to go outside of those lifters.
Okay,
so. I think. Okay, so whenever you say that, like, these American lifters, do you really mean the Attitude Nation lifters, or is there anyone outside of that bracket of lifters in the United States?
I know that Kendrick Ferris is guilty of this as well.
Yes,
Kendrick is I mean, I know he's building his brand and everything, and we've talked about that before on this podcast, maybe in an unreleased episode where we're talking about building the brand for American weightlifting. But I know he's building his brand, but at the same time, dog, let's be real. You're a 94-kilo lifter. 77-kilo lifters are out-snatching you on the regs. So just be humble and do your thing. And I know that's he gives a lot of mouth time to that, but it seems like sometimes he doesn't walk the walk, so to speak. So I know what Forrest is talking about.
Well, there's a specific lift that pops out in my mind that Kendrick did, and this was a while back, so maybe he was young and a little bit cockier back then, but I think it was at Olympic qualifying where he hit some like clean and jerk, and then he like flexes, somebody throws him a bottle of water, and he poses for some pictures, and I'm like, man, what the hell are you doing? Who the hell just threw you a bottle of water, and why are you like standing on top of a bar with this bottle of water?
That's who it was.
I mean, it was just ridiculous. I was like, dude, dog, you just clean and jerked, like, get off the stage, next lifter up. And that's a joke. Like, if you want to be Klokov and be on the world stage and be going head to head as like one of the 2 best lifters in the world, and you're putting on a show, yeah, man, get out there, kiss the bar, do whatever you want because it's your show. But Kendrick,
no, I mean, I will say I do agree with that. I mean, in sports like weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting, wrestling, it seems like one of the things that the Eastern Europeans have a very strong grasp of that is not as as big a deal in American culture is just the idea of hammering down and going into that place where you're just isolated and you're just training and you're working hard. And I think that's something that's to a certain extent has been lost in American culture. And I think there's this culture of let's put myself out there. I got to put myself out there and show what I've done and what I'm doing. And Klokov, I know, is putting YouTube videos out there and everything, but he worked at Olympic weightlifting for years and years and years and years and years, and didn't do the sort of put his personality out there at all. So I do understand what you're saying, but it is a different market too. So I see both sides of it, and I know that's lawyering this whole thing, because I'm just playing the field.
Naturally,
but I do feel your pain, Forrest. I do feel your pain, and unfortunately, it's probably something we're not going to change it because no one's listening to this podcast anyway. But maybe one day, when Klokov and Ziggy start listening, they'll know.
Well, yeah, next month when we have Ziggy on as as our subject matter expert. We might figure some things out.
We're all gonna have to learn Russian and Polish before then.
Well, I don't know. I want to hear Caleb talk a little bit more about this too. So Caleb, after Grant's done here, I want to hear you.
Grant usually finishes pretty quick, so
yeah. Give me 10 seconds. Forrest, you're dumb. Caleb, you're up.
Okay, go.
Okay, so I think it's about style. Like, what gets you psyched? What gets you in the zone? So, like Klokov, I feel like Klokov was kind of famous before his YouTube and Instagram swelling, where he was just. I mean, yeah, he's strong and he's pleasing to look at. He looks kind of like the bodybuilder of weightlifting, but like everyone knows about like what he would do to get amped up for the lift.
Pleasing.
Very pleasing. I mean, very pleasing.
I'm pleased.
Constantly.
But okay,
pleased.
so he would go there. He would get amped up like before by yelling, doing whatever, and I mean, it just depends on who the lifter is, what their personality is. It's like saying, all right, in order to do weightlifting, you have to abide by this standard of you have to do things by the book, by the code. And I feel like that's part of the USAW program that's keeping us behind. They're not embracing like the contemporary culture. And I don't want to talk about like, we need to be listening to Justin Bieber while we're lifting or anything like that. But it's like
saying Canadian.
Miley Cyrus.
Well,
maybe.
yeah. All right, yeah. But
let me ask you this question, Caleb. Do you think it comes from just their training methods, where the Europeans maybe go through like a Bulgarian or whatever, where they're grinding, like every day is just a grind, and they're forced to be like so emotionless sometimes, where it's just like, all right, 90% done, 95 done. Let me cycle back through. I mean, like, is it just that daily grind that they're so used to?
Yeah, absolutely. It's cultural. And if you look at the American culture, I mean, we invented fucking fireworks. I mean, let's do a little bit of celebrating.
That was the Chinese. Dude, things Americans have invented, Caleb. Pizza, fireworks.
Wait, you guys are all wrong.
Accuracies aside.
Did the Romans not invent the Roman candle? Is that all bullshit? I mean, like, I always thought the Romans invented that candle.
The Roman candle? Yeah, maybe they did, Forrest, but jeez.
All right, so game on.
But not
dude. The
fireworks.
Romans invented
Hey,
fireworks.
I'm saying this,
Done.
Forrest. I think there's some. I think there's some merit to what you're saying. Yeah, like, but at the same time, like, I want the best lifters in America to do whatever the hell it is that they want to do in order to get them to push the envelope for American weightlifting. So if that's coming out there and like, I don't know, doing like grinding, like dry humping the bar before they lift it, if they're pushing American weightlifting, then I don't care.
They'll be
Good for
pushing
them.
something.
Hey, and I think I should probably say that, like, pre-lift, to get yourself psyched up, it doesn't really bother me if they have to yell or scream a little bit. It's kind of what they do afterwards. There
Forrest,
is
are
that,
you talking about foreplay?
Yes, if they've got the foreplay with the bar before, that's fine. But
is the bar here to please us, or are we pleasing the bar? That's my question.
Well, I'm just saying,
are you taking the slack out of the bar or dynamic?
Post-coital, act like you've been there before. Lay there, smoke your cigarette, be the big spoon, do whatever you got to do. But I mean,
green jacket, gold jacket. Who gives a shit?
But,
okay,
for a man like you who is a soft off, tell me about what you do. Like, have you ever celebrated whenever you've made a big lift longs?
I mean, honestly, maybe a little bit, but even like, at the competition where I pulled that snatch out of my ass at 190. No, I mean, I pulled that 190 snatch out of my ass at the competition, and I didn't even realize I'd hit it. Like, Caleb was the first one to come over to me. He's like, hey, you just did this. And I was like, all right, I got to start cleaning and jerking now. I mean, like, and I'm a nub. And still, I understand that, like, there's a task in front of me. A noob. I'm a noob.
Okay.
A nub? Is a nub a scrub, or is that...
Yeah. Hollering at your best friend's ride, whatever. Who sang that song?
So what you're saying is...
There's a task. This is what I'm saying. Is that there's a task. There's a task in front of them.
You didn't
and they
celebrate
should be focused
because
on
you
that.
couldn't add the bar math correctly.
Yeah. No. What I'm saying is that I didn't know that I hit the PR, but even when Caleb told me I hit the PR, it was like, look at the clock. All right, we're under 3 minutes. I got to get ready to clean and jerk. Mentally, they should know, like, act like you've been there. Like, I know that I've got a task in front of me and I've got to get this done to be successful. So even for someone like me, there's no time to celebrate. As soon as even when I hit a new PR a couple weeks ago, I got it on my head and I said, yeah. And I put the weight down because I knew I didn't do shit.
Because you're like yeah, now I got to go bottle feed George.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's a successful task right there.
Well,
But
I think Outlaw Barbell has taught us that celebration is good and encouraged, if anything.
Forrest, why can't they celebrate it? It's an American record. It hasn't been done before. I know it might be just 90% of the world record, but the rest of the world doesn't have USADA breathing down their necks, and maybe they can get around doping. I don't know that for sure. We'll put an asterisk next to that in the show notes, but why can't they celebrate it, Forrest?
It's not that they can't celebrate it. You know, like Ian Wilson, he breaks the American record. He didn't even really celebrate that much. He had a little bit of a celebration coming off the stage, but no, that's great. That's fine. It's not a matter of them hitting a record. It's let's say Ian comes back and he wants to snatch 150. Don't celebrate 150. You've hit 166, man. You're in a whole new territory. So that's what
167.
disturbs me.
Are you saying that you have caught him celebrating 150?
No. I was using him as an example, but that's
Ian
what I'm
Wilson,
saying. Like,
do you listen to this podcast? We want to know. Have you ever celebrated 150?
Well, no, that's
because we're gonna
that's
find
what
you and we're gonna take you out behind the barn and beat you like a redheaded stepchild. Forrest will
that
lead-
was the
lead
example
way.
that Grant weighed in front of me. Grant weighed the American snatch record in front of me, so that's what I went with. Seeing as how he
Forrest,
just broke
you know
that.
what we used to do with guys like you? We'd take you out back and beat you with
Take me
a
back.
water hose, but now you got your damn unions.
Back in my day, we shot blanks, Grant.
Oh man.
But
Apparently,
no,
apparently
listen,
you're
I'm-
not,
I'm
man. There's
totally-
George now. Come on.
I don't want to go totally against the grain here on that because I am excited. You know, people like John North and Kendrick, they have emotion, and I appreciate that emotion. It's exciting. They sort of capture your heart sometimes, especially Kendrick.
But
man,
at
when
the
he
same
goes to
time, it pisses
universities.
me off.
Well, it pisses me off when they celebrate meaningless shit. So,
Well,
like, don't do that.
Okay, so here's a serious note. I think this might be my first serious note so far in the 20 minutes we've recorded. How much of that do you guys think is because of our day and age and this social media craze, and they need to build their brand, they need to have their YouTube videos exciting enough to where people will watch them every week? I mean, how much of that is due to just the social media hype machine?
That plays a part. It
definitely
plays a
does.
part, but at the same time, I think a lot of it is though for these guys, they've been training for so long, and for someone that's been training for that long, anytime you hit within like 95% of your 1 rep max is exciting, because that's not an every week or sometimes even every month occurrence. So whenever you hit that percentage, it's exciting, it's motivating, and again, whatever goes with their personality, like I feel like they should embrace that. So whether that's the Eastern European method of being humble and staying focused, that's fine. Or if you're Ric Flair and you want to go woo and freaking two-step off the stage, then do whatever like motivates you, do whatever keeps you psyched, and like practice how you play. So if that's how they do it whenever they're training, then fantastic. Keep that energy, keep that focus. Whatever it is that floats your boat, do that, whenever you're competing.
And that's interesting. That's interesting for the people at home listening that you guys do not have Caleb Boaz's programming expertise. I mean, these guys are suffering through 2 or 3 4-week chunks where they're not lifting anything higher than 90%. I mean, they're slogging around with those 75, 80, 85% lifts, and they're doing it for triples. Early on, they might be doing it for quads even, and they've got to grind through all that. So 2 or 3 months later, when they finally are in that cycle where they can start hitting those 95% lifts, I mean, that's a whole lot of foreplay with not a whole lot of release, if you understand the euphemism.
Blue balls. That's what we're talking about here.
Well, I mean, honestly, I see it like this. It's sports in general. I mean, you can go back to the days of Muhammad Ali, who kind of got the whole, like, me and the whole I'm the baddest man, I'm great, I'm this, I'm that. Like, look at how nobody really celebrated things. Like, you go back and watch Babe Ruth hit a home run. He just run around the bases. Then you get, like, in this time, like the 70s.
That's because he was
you
too
got
tired,
Ali.
Forrest. He was about to pass
sucking
out.
the wind
all
by
Babe
second
Ruth
base.
could do.
Well, all I'm saying is, like, you get to, like, the 70s and you see, like, Muhammad Ali and he's like, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, I'm the greatest. And you hear all this talk. And then you go into the Michael Jordans, who they had this thing where he has the dunk that is now on 1,000 different kinds of shoes. Like, it's your icon, it's your brand. And that's who we are as a society now, where you have to have that go-to thing where it's like, what are you known for? Well, Michael Jordan was known as just dunking on people and hitting whatever shot he wanted to hit.
Yeah,
Muhammad Ali was known for knocking people out whenever he wanted to. So now it's different. It's a different kind of thing. But yeah, you've got to have that brand, that logo, something that sets you apart.
It's interesting because, I mean, you're talking about Ruth, who was predominantly in the radio era. And then you're talking about Jordan, who's predominantly in the TV era. And now we're talking about the American lifters that are out right now that are in the social media era. So is it only going to get worse from here? Or what's going to happen next for us?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to get worse. I mean, I don't.
They're going to beam their videos directly into your brain. That's the next level. And Miley Cyrus will be there too, twerking, and they're going to be lifting and twerking, and that's the end of society.
Holograms with bodily fluids in your living room, just getting overexcited.
Your living room will actually be moist. That's how.
If I ever go out to my garage and see George snatching to like a hologram of Miley Cyrus twerking, I might have to just beat the crap out of him, which will probably cause my wife to beat the. Yeah, my wife will beat the crap out of me. So I mean, it's not going to be a happy house at that time. But let's hope it doesn't.
I mean, we are 6 episodes in, and I don't know if we've established that Forrest has a son named George and a wife named Maxie. So I mean, people do need to realize, like, what we're talking about here with these inside jokes.
Yeah, very true.
Okay, so I want to do this. We're talking American Open. I want to talk Worldwide Open because we're about to get into 2014, the year of the dragon.
Is it the year of the dragon?
It might be the year of the rat.
Actually.
So it's the year of the rat.
How do you know that it's really the year of the rat? How do you know that?
Well, how do you
Did
not
you sit
know
at
that?
a Chinese buffet and they put one of those things
somebody
in front
referenced
of you?
that. I think Taylor's about to reference that for us. 2014 Worldwide Open, year of the rat Open. What?
Dave Castro presiding over the Rat Open.
Okay.
We're all just a rat in the maze in Castro's maze.
The CrossFit Open is coming up in probably less than 60 days now. I'm kind of curious what you guys think. We have to expect, what we're going to see in the 2014 Open. Are we going to – let's go broad at first. Broad strokes, 30,000-foot view. How many workouts are there going to be? Caleb Boaz, go.
5. I think that as we continue to as the sport continues to mature, we're going to see less weeks. I think that it was smart from them going from 6. I know that the 6 was kind of a fluke with the 1 week having to be repeated, but I think that 5 is going to probably be standard for a while, and they might even shorten that as the sport continues to grow and like I said, mature, just because, this messes up, training cycles and stuff like that. So, I mean, 5 for probably the foreseeable future. 5.
For the record, it's the year of the horse.
Yeah, year of the horse, 5 workouts. If anyone's played horse in basketball, that's actually what Castro's going to do.
You're going to ride a horse while you do Fran. It's going to be very dangerous.
The first workout is the H, second workout is the R, and so on and so forth.
Does anyone disagree with 5 weeks in the Open?
Maybe 6, just because they choose to include new movements. But I would most likely be on board with you with the exact same reasons, just messing up people's training cycles. 5 seems to be the best way to go, unless they're going to throw like some curveball and be like, oh, kettlebell swings have been included in this year's Open.
Well, let me ask you that for a serious question. If they were going to put a new movement or two into it, let's narrow it down. If they're going to do a different movement than they did last year, what do you think you would see?
Well, I mean, first, let me go through what are our movements. I mean, we've got deadlifts. We've done wall balls, muscle ups, pull ups, thrusters, squat, clean, and jerk. What else are we missing? Did we do box jumps? We did, didn't we?
There's about
push
12
press?
movements.
Box jumps and push press.
Snatch, muscle ups, wall balls, burpees.
Box jump, double under, toes to bar, chest to bar.
If the coach programming for you doesn't know, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if we're gonna see a new movement, maybe kettlebell swings. That would seem to be the most.
See, I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with you right
sit-ups.
I think we're all gonna
Maybe
disagree.
sit-ups.
I'm gonna say no
are.
kettlebells, and I've been saying this for a while now, which is why I've been programming for the gym differently. But I think that dumbbell snatches are so much easier to judge range of motion because you're going from the ground, which is you can witness, when it touches the ground, and then it's so much easier to see when there's a lockout because it's very rarely that you have, an elbow not fully extended whenever they show control at the top. So I think that's going to be a new potential movement in the Open.
That's not bad.
I think
that's very true.
I think a good movement would be either lateral dumbbell raises, which, as we all know, are the most objective movement on earth. No, I think realistically, it would have to be like rowing. It would have to be like rowing, something that's absolutely measurable. That would be my preference, actually, if it's something just absolutely measurable, which you can't argue with. Is it 1,000 meters? It's 1,000 meters, no question.
Yeah, I don't know. I think just with the equipment, I mean, that's $1,000 piece of equipment. I don't know if you put that in there, but I think you could take two movements that we've had every year, and I think you could see a combination of burpee box jumps come up. It's really easy to judge. Get your chest to the deck. Instead of jumping up and touching something, you're just going to jump onto a box and show lockout. And I think that also helps because you're not going to have these Achilles problems where people are doing bounding box jumps for 100 reps.
I think you have an extra element to it.
Very good point.
I think at the top of that burpee box jump, you have a pistol and you shoot it off in the air, desk pop style. Just pop right there. Open the hips.
Fireworks,
pop.
America.
American fireworks that we invented. And you'll throw some spaghetti too because we invented that.
Very good point by Grant Scalf, though. Like showing control at the top and defeating one of the things that people love to make fun of CrossFit for, as far as people tearing their Achilles. But the row has got to be included at some point.
It's too expensive, though. Like the Open is about
but that doesn't matter. That doesn't
egalitarian
matter.
For us.
What do your average CrossFitters pay a month to work out?
But it's not about your average CrossFitter. We're not all pharmacists, you queer.
Yeah, but guess what, dude? It doesn't matter. College students pay $150 a month to go to some warehouse and work out. So I mean,
I don't know if it'll be in there eventually, but at some point they do need to include some pure aerobic activity in the Open, like running, like a row, something like that does need to be included for sure.
It would be nice to have. I wish they could, but I just don't see them doing that because they talk about how inclusive the Open is, and it's trying to cast the widest net there is to capture all the best athletes and anyone who wants to try this, no matter how rich or poor. A lot of these things you can make with an at-home barbell set, or you can make your own med ball, or you can hang rings from a tree, and all those things. I think that's part of the charm of the Open, is that anyone can do it, and I think it needs to maintain that in order to continue its growth.
But at the same time, does that not count out people? Like, say, Grant, what was the one you and I did together? Wasn't that a push press, box jump, toe to bar, something like that before we left on my bachelor party?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where does your average CrossFitter come up with a 24-inch or 30-inch box? Like, you can't go to a gym. Not every gym is going to have a set of.
You can find a
plyo
rock.
boxes
You
or
can
whatever.
find a bench. You can find a chair. You can find something and
measure it 24 inches. I guarantee, though, it's easier for some the CrossFit HQ should reach
easier
out
for them to build a rowing
what-
machine.
No, what
Forrest,
should happen
stack
is
plates up.
CrossFit.
No, seriously, stack plates up and make it 24 plus inches.
Oh my
Seriously.
God.
That's what
I
a
would
lot of
love to
people
see
did.
that.
That's what a lot of people did.
Yeah.
How
And a
many
lot of people are
centimeters is
DA.
that?
I
I was
mean-
just thinking about that. That's an unrelated topic, but what's the
Well,
what
what
are the what's
HQ
the
needs to
European
do-
translation?
HQ needs to reach out to the
61
affiliates and
centimeters.
say, "Hey,
Thanks.
run a special at your gym during the Open. Say $30 for all 5 workouts or $25, something like that, and let people come in, pay $5."
Realistically,
and
that's what
Grant will
people
say,
do. That's what people do. Is they
Well,
stop in.
well, yeah,
If they CrossFit in their own gym, in their garage or their own home gym, or in their backyard, or with their imaginary friend George, they stop into a gym every week during the Open and they do the workouts with the equipment that a gym has. And so at some point, that rowing, that running, some of that's going to be included. It's just a matter of time because at some point you're just going to want to weed out those people that have never even been in a CrossFit gym from being in regionals because those people don't know how to don't have the body awareness or the experience to do the regionals movements. And just because you have a good aerobic capacity, which is what the
that's
Open
again,
test,
that's alien.
doesn't mean you have to be a part of the regionals.
Right, and that's alienating the people that
It's
aren't,
got to be elite. It's
regional
got to be more
athletes.
elite.
It's not as user friendly, and it needs to be user friendly to continue to grow the sport. It continue to be this is about inclusivity, not exclusivity, and like we're talking about people that live in the freaking Himalayan mountains training with Rocky whenever he's preparing to fight Ivan Drago. Like,
That was the Himalayas.
it was, yeah. In case you didn't know that, he was actually in southern Asia training for his fight in northern Asia. Not a lot of people know that, but that is a fact.
Well, what's more important though? Is it exclusivity or legitimacy? I mean, because this is one of the
okay.
things.
That's a different argument.
This isn't about your children, Forrest.
Okay,
this is
here,
about CrossFit.
I want to wrap this one up. Because I've got another question that I'm going to throw to, not Forrest. I'll throw it to Caleb.
You're not throwing it to me. I know that.
Yeah, I'm not
Not
gonna
with
throw
the
it to
real
you.
life
To someone with a little bit of education.
Here's how I'm going to wrap that one up. I think everyone talks about why isn't there an aerobic piece in there? Physiologically, 18 minutes of burpees and snatches, unless you just get capped out at the first bar on snatches, it's an aerobic workout. Like, that's not – everyone's in an aerobic zone for that. And you could even make a really good argument that most people are aerobic on most of the open workouts. Like, that's just – I think that's fact. So the argument that you need running or rowing in there because you need to test the aerobic capacity of athletes, I think that just doesn't stand. That argument doesn't stand. So here's my question. Of the movements that we have seen, and we threw them out there, something like overhead squat, which was, I guess, just the first year, but deadlift, clean, wall ball, muscle up, box jump, pull up, jerk, toes to bar, snatch, burpees, all of those movements. Caleb, what do you think the most important 2 or 3 movements are? Like, if people were like, if they wanted to hack the Open, if they wanted to work really hard to be the best Open athlete they could be, what do they need to be the best at?
Ooh, that's a great question. You kind of
That is a really good question.
blindsided me with this one,
For-
G Daddy.
It's CrossFit. You have to be good at everything.
I mean,
think
it's
that's the
true.
answer.
Okay, so here's
unknowable. You got to be unknown and unknowable.
I'm gonna say thrusters.
Force, no one asked you. God, you're such a punk.
sit down, Rando.
Well, I'm sorry.
No,
So
okay, let
when
me
we
add
ask
this.
a question,
Forrest.
other people don't get to add their opinion.
Not when I
You're
said
t-
Caleb.
dude,
Forrest,
listen.
let me say this.
Well, I don't have time. Listen, the podcast doesn't have time for Caleb to spend 5 minutes.
All right, I'm ready for your answer,
Thrusters-
Forrest.
Thrusters, burpees. I'm gonna go box jumps or air squats.
I think
air squats?
Dude, Forrest,
Yeah.
those are all the movements that I would say you're wrong. You're so completely wrong. You could have answered literally
hit me
any
up.
of the other ones, and I would have said probably.
I'm gonna say, all right.
Tell
listen,
me why.
listen to
Tell
mine.
me why,
I'm
dog.
gonna say first of all, muscle ups, and the only reason is because think about the margin that muscle ups separated people on the Karen workout. It was night and day. Just to have like 3 extra reps, like changed so much. So I'm gonna say muscle ups. Even just to get 1 muscle up in that workout, especially for a female athlete, was huge. So I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say, I think that I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you on thrusters. Thrusters and then snatching, just because it's the most dynamic, and proficiency in that movement at anywhere from moderate weight to heavyweight is very transferable into the other movements. So if you work your snatch, I feel like you'll become a virtuoso of a lot of other movements with the barbell, and they'll come naturally.
Okay.
I agree, but I would change like box jumps maybe for toes to bar. I think toes to bar would be one of the other ones that seems to separate
that's
people
fair.
as far
That's
as
fair.
ability to hold onto the bar, the ab strength, and also the flexibility to get up there and do that. So that's one of the other movements I've seen that just separates people.
Oh, okay.
I think Forrest
Grant.
saying thrusters and box jumps, I can get behind those two. Like, I don't think that's.
Well, the only
Well,
reason
I'd say
say
box
that
jumps
is
for
because
me,
the
but that's because I suck at them.
Well, no, just the cardio aspect of those. Like, burpees. I can agree with everything that everybody else is saying as well.
Such
it really
a
just depends on what
pushover.
kind of No, I mean, it really just depends on what your strengths and weaknesses are. But Grant, I'd love to hear your 3 thoughts. But Caleb, great thought on the snatch that never crossed my mind. But how transferable the snatch is over other movements.
Yeah.
Very, very much
It's,
so.
al-
Forrest.
it's almost
You're such
it's
a good
almost
friend.
like the quick lifts transfer over to everything we do. Those Olympic lifts. All right,
You're
Forrest.
just saying that because that's all you do.
That is true. I'm gonna come in and destroy
Dude,
the Open
Grant's-
this year.
Grant has by far the best conditioning of anybody on this podcast.
In no way, shape, or form is that a compliment, though. That's pretty pathetic.
I'm pretty sure that I'm the only person that does conditioning on this podcast.
Absolutely.
Dude, that's bullshit.
I'm the
I
most conditioned
supersetted
podcaster on the Storm and a Teacup.
Caleb, I was doing sets at 10 on Monday. I was doing sets at 10 on Tuesday.
Hey, you're not Klokov. You're not squatting 275 kilos for sets of 10, all right?
Yeah, and I superset
All right,
shrugs
Forrest.
and
You wanted to
pull-ups
hear my
today,
opinion.
so-
I'm about to give it to you.
Drop it,
I
babe.
did want to get this in earlier, and I was unable to because all you guys were talking at the same time. Whatever movements come up in the very first workout, you could argue that that's the most important. Those are the most important movements because that is when they're the most. What would you call it? The most scores submitted for an open workout because it always just gets people drop out.
Disproportionately
Yes.
Yeah, that's what.
important.
Well,
So-
let me ask you this, Grant. Do you think there's a mental thing there? Like, say snatch pops up and I'm not a very good snatcher. Like, does that break me mentally to know, like, damn, I'm in 2000th place in my region? So would you also come from that mindset as well?
You've been in 2000th place. Tell us.
Yeah, I was about to say, are those the precise numbers we're using?
No, I mean a little bit. That
but
definitely
no.
plays into it. But I think you can get a little bit. I think it's more important than that. I think that, and we'll just throw arbitrary numbers out. 5,000 people in the Central East region are going to submit a score for 7 minutes of burpees, for instance. So the difference between me getting 120 burpees and me eking out 3 more burpees and getting 123 is enormous. That'll probably jump me 200 to 300, maybe 400 places. Whereas if that workout came up as the very final workout and only 3,500 scores are submitted, the difference between me getting 120 to 123 might only be 50 places. So I think that, one, it's very important to perform the absolute best. I mean, you need to go just wild, berserk, if you will, on the first workout. It needs to be your best workout because there are just going to be so many scores submitted that one more rep means way more in that workout than it does in any other workout.
You heard it first here, folks. You got to front load the open.
Front load the open. So here's what I would say. My two movements would be the snatch and the burpee. The reason being, and I know if you're a stock trader, past performance or history does not dictate future performance or whatever that quote is.
They actually do use that a lot. Even I think it's how we got in this mess in the first place, economically.
Well, here's what I'm saying. I'm saying snatch and burpee because in 2012, there was what? How many minutes of? It was 7 minutes of burpees, and then how many minutes of snatches, guys? 11.
Something like that.
Okay, so there were the first workout was all burpees. The second workout was all snatches. 2013, Castro and his minions decide to combine those two workouts into 18 minutes of burpees and snatches. So once again, two very important movements. They were the first workout. It's a very important workout. So I think that you're going to see one of those movements, if not both, in the very first workout in 2014. And those are the two things that you need to be very good at. The snatch is a very technical movement, so you need to skill and drill that. The burpee is just kind of a suck fest always, but, up your aerobic capacity, practice your burpees, go to a better place mentally, and I think you can perform really well on that. Anybody want to come back at me on that?
No, dude, I think you hit the nail on the head. That was
Grant Scalf, coach of Team Jackson
thinking about.
Tan, has spoken. That is it.
Here, the only other thing that I would want to know, and I'm guessing you guys probably have the same thought that I do, and the answer is going to be no. Do you think that we'll see anything based on times, or will it continue to be an AMRAP style?
AMRAP.
It's just too easy to score. That's one thing they've done that's really wise. I think they shouldn't change that.
Okay, here's a great.
I will argue your point on that it's easy to score, but I don't think it's going to change.
Okay,
it's easier to score.
It is. Here's how we're going to end. I'm going to start with you, Forrest, because you got butt hurt earlier when I didn't start with you. What workout from last year do you think they're going to repeat this year at the 2014 Year of the Horse Worldwide Open? Go. Okay. I dropped Forrest out of the Skype call. Caleb, same question to you. Go.
I think they're going to go with the last one, dadgummit, and it pisses me off because that one hurts the most, and it's thrusters and chest to bar pull-ups are the bane of my existence. But I think they're going to go with the last one because it was probably the most unique, and I feel like they're never going to stop doing some combination of a Fran-style workout just because that's like the poster child CrossFit workout, and they'll never move away from some variation of thrusters and chest to bar pull-ups.
Taylor, what are your thoughts?
Some sort of wall balls and muscle ups because it's been there the last 2 years.
Okay. I would have to agree with Caleb on this one. Actually, I think that
I know. I just wanted to be different for the record.
The final. Well, that's what we have Forrest
right.
for. That the final workout last year, I think was a fantastic workout. I love that idea. I think the showmanship of it when you get to pit those athletes together was phenomenal for the unveiling video and all that. I think that's the workout that you see for sure. And I would be surprised if there wasn't some type of snatch burpee combination in a workout. But yeah, I would agree that final workout last year is the workout they're going to repeat. Forrest, I know we dropped you earlier. The question was, what workout from last year do you think they're going to repeat this year in the 2014 Open?
I mean, it's going to be some sort of Fran combination.
Boom.
They continue to do that year after year. Now, what exactly they do, I mean, I don't know if anybody said it or not, but what they did last year with Fran was really cool idea where you got to do increasing rounds based on like if you get this done then you get more time. That was really cool. So I gotta give a hats off to Castro on that one. That was a nice little curveball.
Yeah. I think that we did cover that, and I think that we're actually agreeing on something, which I think is a good note to end on.
Well then screw that, man. That was the dumbest thing Castro ever did.
Well, this was a lot of fun. Forrest, I wish you could have made it to Nashville, although I'm glad you didn't, honestly. And Taylor, thanks for hosting us here in your parents' beautiful abode. Any closing thoughts, guys?
I think that we will continue to speculate upon the Open until it is upon us. But, yeah, looking forward to more silly conversations about that. And, yeah. So until next time, gentlemen, and I do use the term loosely.
Well,
hey guys, quick question.
Happy holidays.
Hey, how's old Taylor Layman looking out there? You know, he's been going out every Friday night all night and then eating pumpkin pie all Saturdays.
He's eating ham and chips.
Taylor,
no surprise there.
come on, man.
He's got a bottle of
Dude.
wine on one side of him and a bag of Nut Thins on the other.
And a dog.
I
I
used
have
to
a dog
look up
too.
to you, Taylor.
You never looked up
I
to
used
me.
to look up to you, man.
You're shorter than me. That's why you looked up to me. And I snatched 135 for reps for real. That's the other thing.
I snatched it for 5.
Said the 13-year-old girl.
All right, guys. It was fun. I'll see you next week, which will be the new year, 2014, Year of the Horse. Everyone, do their things accordingly for the horse year.
Make sure you shoot off your American fireworks.
Adios.
Or Roman.